forms. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some are really straightforward, some are more complicated. Some are done in Excel, some are done in Word, some are even done in Microsoft Forms. But there's a common theme that I often encounter with filling out a form, and that is that they're really difficult to do. People haven't considered how to set the form up to allow a user to jump from one field to another to enable an easy way of completing it. So what can you do to make your forms look and function better? I'm going to show you. A very easy way of creating a form is to use Microsoft Forms. I've created a new form here. It's completely blank. And all I need to do is add new to put a question on there. I can say what type of question I want to ask, give it a name, and then people can obviously fill that in when I send it out. I can also put whether this is a mandatory field, so people can't move past it until they filled it in. I'm going to add a new question, and I'm going to make this one a choice. So I want to find out what type of address people are putting in on this form, whether it's business or home. I can give it a name and then put my options in. So I want to know whether it's either business or whether it's home. So very, very quick to create a form using Microsoft Forms. They are quite linear. One thing you can do is you can put something called branching in. And using branching, you can say, if somebody has answered this to this question, skip and move to another section. And it just makes the flow of the form filling much more straightforward then. You can put a theme against it and you can share it up at the top here. So very quick, very simple, great way of getting forms and all the responses to those forms in one area. So if you're doing customer satisfaction service, it's a great way of doing it. It's got within it something that you can use for ratings, so you can put 5-star ratings in there. You've also got your Net Promoter Score, so it's got the questions in for doing things like that. So it's great from a marketing point of view. However, if you've got a form that you want to send out to people, say as a supplier onboarding form, something like that, you may want a more traditional method of doing it on Word. I've got a very similar form in here. And that Word is great is that it gives you a lot more control over the visual appearance of the page. But that's always also the downside, in as much as people don't always consider how difficult or easy it is to fill a form in. Now in here, I've enabled my developer ribbon, and everybody has access to this, so you can put your developer ribbon on. And using that, I have these controls for the forms. Now this gives me the ability to control what people type and where they type it. So in the same way as I had on my Microsoft form, I want to capture whether this is a business address, if I could type, whether this is a business address or whether it's a home address. But I want to put a tick box in. And to do that properly, I've got a tick box here, checkbox. So that puts a proper checkbox control in. I don't know about you, but I've come across so many forms where people have put a little box in, and for love nor money, you cannot get your cursor inside that box to tick it. Well, using these form controls, it's really easy because all I do is click on it and it's filled it in for me. I can also do a drop-down list. So using these controls here, I can create a drop-down list and I can put in the entries that I want to be able to use for that drop-down item. So in there, I've got properties, and in my properties, I can add values. So I can put that I want either business or I want home. So it's very, very straightforward. Now, when I go to this drop down, I've got my two options and I can make a choice. So they have two ways of making forms much easier and more user-friendly. There's a lot more to forms beside that. I will put some information out in future videos for you, but if you do have anything very specific, please do let us know. I hope you found it useful. If you struggle with any aspect of this, by all means do reach out and let me know. We are more than happy to help people to make their businesses digital. Thank you very much.